Eldoret, where ODM party leader is on his campaign trail, and Simon Achola is following up on that story. Achola, what is the latest from Eldoret?
Well, thank you very much, Betty. We are indeed in Uasin Gishu County, specifically at a place called Kenmosa, which is on the outskirts of Eldoret town, where the former Prime Minister Raila is actually holding his Azimio La Umoja campaign, of course, as he has repeatedly explained that this is a rallying call to all leaders and Kenyans at large to actually join forces so then we can actually realize a peaceful and united country. So today he is actually here in Uasin Gishu County, and he's continuing with his campaign just to rally Kenyans to actually support this campaign, but more importantly call on all leaders to ensure that indeed they are they preach peace as we head into the next poll and beyond. Betty, now it is well known that Uasin Gishu County is one of the bread baskets of this country, and when Raila comes to this region, that is one of the reasons why he'll actually be discussing. And indeed today the leaders who have actually spoke in this forum have actually insisted on the need for the government to actually allocate more resources and ensure that indeed the agriculture sector in the country is revived. Taking the cue, former Prime Minister Raila actually said that they will do everything within their means, especially if he assumes the reins of power, to ensure that indeed the agriculture sector is allocated enough resources, and more importantly in line with the Maputo declaration that says that close to 10% of the national budget should be allocated to the agricultural sector, so that then they can actually create enough resources for the government. The Prime Minister saying that the reason why this country cannot effectively compete with other nations or imports from other nations is that the cartels and corrupt officials have actually joined forces to ensure that farm inputs are extremely expensive for ordinary mwananchi, and that is why production of food crops actually in this country is very expensive. And he says unless resources are actually put into the agriculture sector to ensure that the prices actually come down, production prices actually come down, then it's going to be extremely difficult for this country to compete against other nations. What else? The other thing he's actually saying is that he wants to ensure that there are enough resources to make agricultural sector more attractive to the youth, so that then we can actually continue to have more people, and specifically the youth, joining into the sector and ensure that the prices go down, and more importantly also so that then the local companies can continue to manufacture goods that can actually be consumed here in the country. And he goes on to say that it is time to actually start utilizing what is made in Kenya. More importantly also, Betty, just in conclusion, he actually talked about corruption as he has always done in his campaigns, and he says that one of the reasons as to why this country cannot move forward is the issue of corruption. And he says that the reason why we are seeing some of the leaders actually doing trips in and out of the country, in neighboring countries, and of course holding fund drives in different sessions in different places, is actually money that has actually been stolen in the country, stored in the offshore accounts, but they are trying as much as they can to ensure that the money comes back into the country, so that then they can actually use it in campaigns. More importantly, on the issue of corruption, the former Prime Minister says that this country is actually losing quite a lot in terms of resources, and he says both at the national level and at the county level, much is actually going to the drain, and it is important that actually this money is ring-fenced to ensure that his pet project that he's actually just started talking about the other day, the social welfare fund, is actually utilized. And he says that this country has enough resources, not just to give the 6,000 shillings that he's actually promising to vulnerable and poor families across the country, but he says he can actually go up to 10,000 Kenya shillings. Of course, Betty, that is something that we will be closely following to see indeed how he's actually going to ensure that he actually implements what he's saying, if indeed he assumes the reins of powers. But more importantly, to break it down further, so that then we can get to understand exactly when he says that he'll be giving out resources to the vulnerable and poor families, how exactly he's actually going to do so. We will keep following his trails from here. We are told that he's going to Huruma Estate, which is along Bungoma, Eldoret, Obuye, Eldoret route, and of course he's expected to actually address his supporters along the way to Huruma, and of course from there he's expected in Kakamega, and of course also in Kisumu County, where he is expected to attend to a funeral to the daughter of the former governor of Kisumu County, Jaka Ranguma. Back to you, Betty.
Thank you very much, Simon Achola, there in Eldoret, just bringing us the latest on Raila Odinga's campaign trail. He is in Eldoret and he will be going to a number of locations thereafter. He says that corruption as well as social welfare are top of his agenda, including agriculture, to ensure that the backbone of the nation is prospering. Well, looks like agriculture is quite a topic in the campaign trails, because Wiper Party rather leader Kalonzo Musyoka is promising a green gold revolution.